There was a time when American homes were built with real character, hidden ironing boards in the wall, mail slots in the door, and laundry chutes that felt like secret tunnels. But somewhere along the way, all that charm disappeared. These sunken seating areas, often built right into the living room floor, captured the social spirit of the 1970s perfectly. You'd step down into a cozy nook, surrounded by low couches and colorful cushions, maybe with a coffee table in the middle, stacked with magazines or an ashtray or two. Friends gathered here for long chats, cocktails, or listening to records spinning in the background. A design statement and social hub all at once, it was intimate and stylish. The conversation pit embodied what the decade valued: connection, comfort, and creativity. It was an atmosphere, the kind that encouraged you to slow down and stay a while. These were the ultimate 70s in-house communication network, the built-in intercom systems. A small wall panel in the kitchen could connect you to the den, garage, or kids' rooms upstairs, and some even played music through every room. They made big suburban homes feel connected, used for everything from calling kids to dinner to announcing guests. With their buttons, soft static, and the classic "Can you hear me?" they felt straight out of the Jetsons. What was once futuristic now feels charmingly nostalgic, a relic of a simpler, wired-up family life. Look up in a 1970s home and you'd probably see the bumpy texture of a popcorn ceiling. It was the signature finish of the decade. Practical, affordable, and oddly charming. Builders loved how it hid flaws, while homeowners appreciated how it softened sound and added a little sparkle when sunlight hit just right. It gave rooms a snug, finished feel that perfectly matched the era's warm tones and wood paneling. Today, it's seen as outdated, but for anyone who grew up beneath those ceilings, that soft, glittering texture still brings back the comforting memories of a 70s afternoon. The 70s had a thing for levels, and the sunken living room was a close cousin to the conversation pit. Just a bit bigger and more practical. Instead of a small, recessed seating area, the entire living room stepped down a few inches, creating a cozy yet open feel. Plush carpet, a brick fireplace, and maybe a few potted plants completed the look. Relaxing but elegant, it was perfect for both parties and quiet evenings. The subtle change in level made the space feel special, and even today, it brings back that unmistakably cool 70s vibe. It was an era where smoking was woven into daily life. Indoors, outdoors, even on airplanes, there was no limit, and homes showed it. Elegant smoking stands and ashtray tables sat beside couches and armchairs, often crafted from brass or glass with spots for matches and cigarettes. Guests lit up mid-conversation, the smoke drifting lazily in the lamplight. It was as much a social ritual as sipping coffee or sharing dessert. Whether or not you smoked, those stands were part of the living room's rhythm. Small, stylish markers of an era when hospitality meant comfort, conversation, and always an ashtray within easy reach. Step into a 1970s home, and the floors always made a statement. Patterned linoleum was everywhere, bold, bright, and impossible to ignore. From geometric prints to floral swirls, it brought color and energy into kitchens and hallways. Durable and easy to clean, it was the perfect mix of function and flair. Checkerboard designs, faux wood, and marbled patterns gave each room its own mood. Sunlight bouncing off those glossy tiles made even simple spaces feel lively. Linoleum didn't pretend to be fancy. Its charm was in turning ordinary floors into one of the most memorable features of 70s home design. Kitchens and breakfast nooks used to have cozy built-in banquets tucked into the corner. Wrapped in vinyl or patterned fabric, these curved benches turned ordinary meals into family moments. Kids slid in for pancakes, parents sipped coffee, and conversations lingered long after plates were cleared. The banquette made small spaces feel warm and connected. Whether it came in avocado green or burnt orange, it added a touch of character to every kitchen. More than simply a seating spot, it was a gathering spot, the heart of countless breakfasts, stories, and memories. Every living room had a soundtrack, and it often came from a built-in record player cabinet. These wooden consoles were part music system, part furniture, proudly displayed in the heart of the home. Lift the lid and you'd find a turntable spinning Led Zeppelin or Billy Joel, filling the house with warm analog sound. Families gathered to flip records and share the moment, surrounded by the scent of polished wood and the soft crackle of vinyl. The record cabinet was about classy design and the joy of sound you could feel. The 70s were a decade filled with colors from living rooms and kitchens, and even bathrooms had their own unique theme. Bathtubs, sinks, and toilets came in soft pastels such as sky blue, mint green, rose pink, and even mauve. Matching tiles, floral wallpaper, and plush towels tied it all together, creating a space that felt warm and personal. Pink bathrooms especially became icons of the decade, blending playfulness with optimism. Unlike today's neutral tones, these rooms celebrated individuality and cheer. Every morning felt brighter under those pastel hues. It's proof that even a bathroom can reflect the joy and creativity of home design. Nothing complemented those pastel bathrooms better than sliding glass shower doors trimmed in gleaming gold. They captured the essence of 70s style, bold, elegant, and just a little bit flashy. The metallic frame reflected light beautifully, matching the brass towel racks and fixtures found throughout the space. Some doors featured frosted or patterned glass for extra charm and privacy. Compared to plain shower curtains, these felt upscale and fancy. The gold trim shimmered against soft-colored tiles, adding that final touch of retro glamour that made even a quick shower feel a little luxurious. No 1970s living room felt complete without a big brick fireplace taking center stage. These weren't just heaters, they were the heart of the room. The brick often stretched floor to ceiling, with a thick wooden mantle lined with family photos and brass decor. On cold nights, the crackle of logs and the soft glow of firelight made everything feel warmer. Some even had built-in log holders for that extra rustic touch. More than a feature, it was a gathering spot, the cozy glowing soul of the home that no modern insert can truly replace. Just a few steps from the fireplace, homes featured a built-in bar counter, the ultimate symbol of style and hospitality. Usually tucked into a living room or basement corner, these bars had mirrored backs, wood panel finishes, and glass shelves lined with decanters and cocktail glasses. Guests would gather here as music played, and laughter filled the room. With padded stools and hanging glass racks, it felt part James Bond and part suburban charm. Even non-drinkers admired its flair. In a decade that celebrated entertainment, a home bar was a statement of arrival. These were everywhere in 1970s homes, reflecting the decade's love for bold design and a touch of glam. Found in dining rooms, hallways, and basement lounges, they instantly made any space feel bigger and brighter. Light from pendant lamps and fireplaces shimmered across the glass, creating a warm, almost dreamlike glow. Often framed with brass or wood trim, these panels struck the perfect balance between homely and chic. Sure, they were a little flashy, but that was the theme of the 70s. Mirrored walls captured the spirit of the decade, confident, stylish, and always ready for good company. If mirrored walls showed off the 70s flair for drama, macrame plant hangers revealed its love for nature and handmade charm. Hanging by bright windows or in the corners, these knotted creations held spider plants and ferns that brought life into every room. Made from cotton or jute, they embodied the era's growing back-to-nature spirit and DIY creativity. Many were crafted by hand, traded at craft fairs, or made during weekend get-togethers. Paired with rattan chairs and overflowing greenery, macrame hangers softened the bold edges of 70s design, adding warmth, texture, and a gentle reminder to slow down. One of the classic features of the 1970s kitchen was tiled countertops glowing under bright lights. These colorful mosaics came in earthy browns, avocado greens, and mustard yellows, giving every kitchen a warm, handmade feel. Some even featured floral or geometric designs right in the tile work. Cleaning grout wasn't fun, but that hardly mattered when the space felt so lively. Families gathered to cook, chat, and share meals over those sturdy counters. Each tile added a touch of character that was imperfect but full of heart. In an era before sleek marble took over, these cheerful tiles made kitchens feel alive and loved. If you lived in a 1970s home, you probably remember the chill that slipped through those single-pane windows every winter. They rattled in the wind, fogged up at dawn, and let in drafts that everyone just learned to live with. Yet there was a certain charm to it, seeing the frost patterns on the glass, the soft tap of rain, and the yearly ritual of sealing them with plastic film. Energy efficiency wasn't the focus then. Warmth and comfort were. Heavy curtains, space heaters, and thick blankets did the trick. Imperfect as they were, those windows gave homes character and life. Every wall in the 1970s had something to say, and it usually spoke through vinyl wallpaper. From florals to wild geometrics, it was bold, shiny, and made to last, sometimes a little too long. Kitchens, bathrooms, hallways, no space was safe from those fearless patterns. Deep oranges, olive greens, and metallic tones made every wall pop with personality. It was durable, easy to clean, and the ultimate sign of a well-decorated home. Sure, peeling it off later was a nightmare, but back then, nothing said style like perfectly patterned vinyl. If you ever looked up in the kitchen and wondered why the cabinet stopped short of the ceiling, that boxed-in space above was called a soffit, a true design staple of the 70s. These low overhangs framed the kitchen, hiding vents or lighting, and gave everything a tidy, built-in look. Some were even dressed up with paint or wallpaper to match the decor. While they might feel dated now, soffits once made kitchens appear polished, cozy, and intentional. It was a time when even the ceiling details showed how much design and order mattered. The unmistakable hum and glow of fluorescent tube lights defined 1970s kitchens. Usually set into large plastic ceiling panels, they promised modern convenience, bright, efficient lighting for all that home cooking. They cast a soft yellowish hue that made everything look warm and familiar, even if not exactly flattering. Beneath that glow, families chopped vegetables, packed lunches, and talked about their day. It wasn't glamorous, but it was practical, a reflection of the decade's focus on modern living. Today, they've been replaced by LEDs and recessed lights, but there's still something oddly nostalgic about remembering that faint flicker before the light finally buzzed on. Before smart doorbells and video calls, the intercom door buzzer was the peak of home tech. Usually built into the wall near the entry, it let you chat with visitors and unlock the door without leaving the kitchen. A quick buzz, a crackling voice, and a metallic click made the whole thing feel straight out of a sci-fi movie. In apartments and split-level homes, it was a modern convenience, and for kids, it was a fun gadget that felt like a secret command center. Simple, futuristic, and endlessly charming, the intercom buzzer defined high-tech in the 70s. A staple of the 1970s, and one of the most distinctive design touches that brought instant personality to any home, were the beaded curtains. Hung in doorways or between rooms, they weren't about privacy, but atmosphere. Each strand of beads, plastic, wood, or glass, caught the light and swayed with a soft click as you passed through. They gave homes a relaxed, bohemian vibe that fit perfectly with shag rugs, macrame hangers, and the faint scent of incense. More than decor, they were expressions, playful, handmade, and full of character. A beaded curtain made even an ordinary doorway feel alive and a little bit magical. Compared to today's open layouts and minimalist design, 1970s homes loved clever built-ins, and fold-down ironing centers were a perfect example. Hidden behind a small cabinet door, a full ironing board could fold down for use, then tuck neatly away. It saved space, kept things tidy, and made chores feel organized. Many even included shelves or a small light, turning ironing into a quick, self-contained task. It was practical design at its best, blending efficiency with charm. Today's homes may favor portable boards or steamers, but those fold-down centers remind us how thoughtfully the 70s balanced style and everyday function. Before digital displays or mood lighting, 1970s homeowners refreshed their spaces with interchangeable wall art panels. These clever inserts let you swap out patterns and textures. One season might feature bold geometrics, the next a calming wood grain. It was DIY decor with a futuristic edge, letting people update their homes without remodeling. Affordable and endlessly customizable, the panels reflected the decade's creative spirit when personal expression extended from fashion to furniture. Though the trend faded, it perfectly captured the 70s belief that homes should evolve with their owner, flexible and ready for change. As energy costs rose and people sought a simpler life, indoor wood stoves became a crucial part of 1970s homes. These cast iron stoves weren't just for warmth, they defined the mood of a room. Families gathered around the soft glow and crackle of burning wood, often relying on them during power outages or cold nights. Their rustic charm brought a cabin feel to suburban living, and some even came in trendy shades like avocado green or burnt orange. Though modern systems replaced them, wood stoves embodied the spirit of comfort, self-sufficiency, and homegrown warmth that were central to the time. Among the many built-ins of the 1970s, few were as personal as the sewing or writing desk. Usually tucked into a quiet corner, these little stations were made for focus and care, whether mending clothes, paying bills, or writing letters. Moms used them to stay organized, while others treated them as creative nooks. Some even had fold-down tops or drawers for thread, pens, and paper. They reflected an era that valued self-sufficiency and quiet productivity long before screens took over. More than furniture, they were part of the home's rhythm, a small, purposeful space for everyday life. Long before Bluetooth speakers, the built-in kitchen radio was the heart of a 1970s home. Tucked under cabinets or into walls, it filled kitchens with music, weather updates, and cheerful morning chatter while breakfast sizzled. Moms tuned in while cooking, the chrome knobs clicking softly as glowing dials lit up the space. These compact radios blended technology and warmth, making the kitchen feel alive. For many families, the hum of the local station became part of the daily routine, a comforting soundtrack to ordinary life. It was simple, sleek, and perfectly captured the charm of modern living in its time. In the 1970s, few home features felt more futuristic than a built-in central vacuum system. Instead of dragging around a noisy machine, you'd simply plug a hose into the wall and watch the dust vanish through hidden pipes to a canister in the garage. It was sleek, quiet, and delightfully high-tech for its time. Though not every household had one, those that did proudly showed it off. It was a symbol of modern living. Central vacuums captured the 70s attitude towards new technology and futuristic living, a mix of optimism and innovation. Homes had sliding dividers that were a clever way to balance openness and privacy. They let you section off a living area for reading, guests, or work, then glide open for gatherings. Made from wood slats, textured glass, or woven panels, many match the home's earthy color palette, adding style as well as function. These dividers embodied the era's playful approach to interiors, letting families reshape spaces on a whim. Today's open-concept homes rarely need them, but in the 70s, they offered flexibility and personality, a perfect mix of practicality and flair that made every room adaptable. The 1970s home brought nature inside, filling rooms with ferns, ivy, and spider plants. Part of the back-to-nature trend, they paired perfectly with macrame hangers, terracotta pots, and wooden planters. Some houses even built greenery into walls or windowsills, letting vines trail dramatically into living spaces. The effect was calming and vibrant, balancing the bold colors and textures of 70s decor. Beyond aesthetics, it reflected a slower, mindful lifestyle, one where caring for plants was part of daily life. This vintage idea has since inspired modern biophilic design. Where smartphones have now taken over, there were once conversation mirrors. These were large decorative mirrors placed near hallways or living room entrances. They weren't just for checking your reflection. They let you see and chat with someone in another room. Families waved, joked, or called out through the glass, turning a simple reflection into a connection. Often gold-trimmed, etched, or stylishly shaped, they added flair while brightening rooms and creating a sense of space. Conversation mirrors blended practicality with warmth, making everyday moments more interactive and personal. They were a quirky, charming way the 70s brought people together at home. From cozy conversation pits to built-in conveniences, these designs remind us of an era that valued creativity, practicality, and a touch of fun in every corner of the home. If you enjoyed seeing these vintage home ideas, check out our next video, 10 Dangerous Home Features That No Longer Exist, for another dive into home features that have since become obsolete.